Okay, here we go. Crypto attunements. Tuesday for Australia, 11:10 Melbourne, 10:10 Brisbane time. Just clearing the space. Hoping that some of the crew will jump on to give me some questions to talk about. Obviously, I do have a little bit of an agenda of things that I want to go through. Try and keep these a little bit shorter from last time. But so when you jump on, please say hi. So a couple of things that have been happening. So I've been getting some therapy from concussion, which is oxygen therapy, which is really amazing. So for those of you, anyone who's had whiplash or major accident or concussion, then I'm learning quite a lot around sort of the long-term impacts, which is why there's this huge debate with sports stars, professional who are getting hit quite often. Hi, so hi from Canada. Welcome. So yeah, please say hi when you jump on, and there is a little bit of a lag, so do sort of put your questions in, and I'll get to them if I can. And if I don't get to them, then you know how to reach out to me privately on Telegram. So Eco Women 777. So I just want to talk about well, a couple of things. The whole Bitcoin subject. So I went and grabbed a coffee this morning and teaching one of the guys there a few different tips with getting into crypto, and he's pretty savvy, young. Most people are pretty savvy on the phones and can navigate pretty well. And his question wasn't really a question; it was a statement around crypto is making me broke, which is really interesting because there's a money story in there in itself. And because we're all moving to collective wealth, it is really our responsibility to start shifting some of these money stories that we've unconsciously got running. I mean, it's usually a bit of a joke. You'd be saying, "Oh, okay, crypto is making me broke," and that's because let's just put it in perspective, is because the market is completely down. And I said to him, I said, well, we're all buying and we all know, and we're all prepared. We know what's happening. We know what's happening in the market. We know that the market is crashing and the narrative is playing out. And he's very awake and very aware. And he's like, right. And I guess, crypto could have that perspective if you're not sort of day trading the altcoins. The altcoins are really where the profit is right now. And so that would mean that you need to put some effort and time into your crypto portfolio. If you're a hold and long-term investor, then you know that crypto is not making you broke, because you know what you hold. But this is for the everyday person who's just kind of learning this space. And I just said, crypto's here to stay, and crypto's safer than cash, and crypto's safer than stocks. So, it really is the sure bet. If I've been able to fund myself for a couple of years on crypto, and not really knowing much about the space, and just, learning tips here and there, then there's got to be something to it. So when the market is down, you can actually earn some money. And so what I want to just share is that the market goes down, right? It crashes, and everyone freaks out. You'd be surprised the number of people that kind of freak out. And that's the goal, is to shift out and get rid of the retail, especially with XRP. Get the retail out because all the banks are buying up XRP. And to instill fear and uncertainty so that you sort of then rely on the system. I mean, that's kind of the psychology behind it. So here's a strategy. You could buy when it crashes, say it's under $1. Say, for example, XRP in Australia is 88 cents, interesting enough. And so you could buy knowing that it's going to go lower. I believe it's going to go lower. Some people are completely selling out with knowing they've got the cash ready. Now that's high risk because the exchanges might lock you out. You might not be able to deposit money in your bank. Your bank might lock you out. Like, there's all these different scenarios. And also we've been told, not to have the X family cryptos on an exchange, on a live exchange, centralized exchange, which I talked about last week. So, in that sense, you've got to either really be, you know, know what you're doing and sort of split across different wallets. There's wallets that you can have, which are apps that have where you own the keys, and you know they're kind of like offline, if you like. They're not on a centralized exchange. So there's ways that you can be sort of digital savvy and not have like a physical hard wallet of a Nano or a Decent wallet or things like that, the complications. So those people that have got their assets over there, they're really just sitting idle. So, you know, for those who bought XRP in 2017, I mean, if you've had yours sitting in a Nano X, you've not made any profits. And so there was even profits in something like XRP to when it goes up, you sell it. When it, you know, when it and then when it goes down, you buy it. I was just like, oh my God, what's my strategy? And so green, red, green, red. And then I was asked the question of how long do I think this will last for? Well, that particular crash lasted for 24 hours. So, and then it's like a sea of green again. So, for those who are active, you can actually sort of make some money knowing what's really going on. So the higher perspective is, from my perspective, is that they're trying to shake up the market, and also there's a narrative going around that, you know, we've got no one in the workforce, and so how do you move people into the workforce, back into the workforce? Well, you shake up the crypto market, and people start to lose confidence. They start looking for jobs. You know, I've been through the wave of emotion as well, as I was thinking, like, the market's been down for ages. The energies, I'm not enjoying anything I'm doing. I'm not motivated. You know, crypto really is an energetic space of healing. And so sometimes you know, the market might be down and we're almost in depression, you know, if it's for a couple of weeks. And I must say, like, when we all, it was a while ago on Intuitive Trader, I moved everyone sort of into the concept of where we could go with Lobster. And Lobster was not completely built then, and it was a kind of faith and trust. Okay, and it was an intuitive knowing. So anyone that was in Lobster, it didn't sort of had that technical strength, was really in there on faith and trust. And so a lot of us bought Doggett, and because we know that that's greener than Doge and, you know, those kinds of things, and it's building on the Stellar blockchain, and it went up. I think it tripled, and some of us sold, which was great. And then some of the comments are, "Oh, I sold. I shouldn't have sold." Well, actually, if it goes up, you can sell because you know that the market's quite volatile, so you know you can get back in. Okay, so it's just it really is a game of trust here around, you know what you hold, know what your strategy is. But if you really need money right now, rather than saying, "Oh, crypto's sending me broke," it's like, okay, well, look at the education that we're getting. Because if you don't know now, the plan really is for everyone to have a digital wallet, and within that wallet, if the plan rolls out the way the government wants it to, they would control where you spend, what you spend it on. Um, you know, so many controls. And none of us really thought it would play out. Like, I never ever dreamed 2 years down the track that this would all be playing out. Now, there's been, you know, like lists of things that, you know, was in the plan, the world. But I mean, this is all available. You know, I'm surprised that more people haven't sort of been alerted to this around the plan, around, you know, like, you know, we do this, we do this, we do this. Like, we can literally tick off, you know, the plan, and then the next step is potentially, and I hope we don't go there, but if it's pretty much the only thing that's going to wake people up is, you know, seizing property. And so if you've got a mortgage or you've got property, you think you're safe, right? Well, mm, um, not if our government has their way. So, you know, we really need to educate ourselves. And so if you just take crypto as an education, and then you're going to really enjoy the ride. So right now, when the market's down, it's like I'm the happiest because I know that I can now get in and buy more XRP. So remember on the last call, I said that, you know, sometimes I have to sell it. But I'm making sure that, you know, it's profiting and it's working for me. And I'm also getting percentage on my coins. So another platform which is really brilliant, but you do need to be discerning, is Nexo. And I did talk about Nexo, liquidating me and things like that. But, I'm, it's like I'm rebuilding my XRP. And when the market crashes, I have such an opportunity. Now, we do need to be careful of language because we're casting spells with our words. I've realized this around, oh, I want the market to go lower. And we've spent the whole year almost wanting the market to thrive and go up. And here we are wanting to go longer because we're waiting for payday. It's like we've had so many warnings and so many opportunities to get into XRP, XLM, XDCs. And there's so many different exchanges that you can grab your sort of X family, if you like. And then if you're really interested in the energetics of crypto, start playing. And this is such a good time to play in these coins and, watch the market and make it a priority for your business. And, it's almost like this time, it's like time to put everything down and then just focus on the market and just start watching what's happening, which coins move quickly, which coins come back green really quickly. Okay, that's the kind of stuff that I'm looking at. And the question came up around, it comes up all the time around Bitcoin. And I guess here's my perspective, because I look at experts and they really do believe that Bitcoin's going to go down, they're going to buy low, and then it's going to go up again. And look, this community know what they're talking about. And it does kind of make me wobble a little bit in terms of intuition and knowing. I remember that I know, okay, most of us here are claircognizant, and we've really got to tune into this stuff. Remember I said that, I knew that Stella was going to provide for me. It is a game of faith and trust. And I wobble and I go off course, and then I think, oh, okay, well, maybe I should get some Bitcoin. But here's the reality. It just does not align with my value system at all. And so I ask people, because they say, oh, what about Bitcoin? Should I get some of that? And then I say, oh, you know what it's been funding? And they're like, yeah. And sometimes I'll yell stuff out and I'll be like, oh, not everyone wants to know all that detail. People just don't want to know. And if you don't know what it's been involved with, then you just search videos like or documentaries like Dark Web. Now, knowing that, why are people looking at Bitcoin? I just, if you know where we're going in terms of it's almost like social wealth where everyone's in the same boat. Okay, so revaluation of currencies around the world, everyone's in the same boat. Like, who says that the Australian dollar or the American dollar should be worth more than the rand, for example, or who says that the GBP should be the British pound should be one of the strongest currencies in the world? Like, who says that? Where's the natural resources? Where's the skills of the people? Where's the education models? Where's the abundance models? So you can see where we're going, right, to equality. And a lot of people go, oh, I don't want to be equal because that means they're going to control us and we're all going to get the same wage. And well, that's the plan. But if we think about it in our way, where we have the power, is that we all will have the same assets, and like we will have the same wealth and the same opportunities. That's fairness of the world. Some of those. Some of the people that haven't even been to school, in my opinion, are more educated than some people who've done, thesis and have doctors against their names, So, it's just a perspective. But knowing that, then investing in Bitcoin when someone's sharing that there's alternatives of cryptocurrencies that are solving real world problems, then my question would be, well, why would you invest in sort of old technology that's saying, hey, we're going to get better, Well, just move forward. So to me, it's like investing in last year when we could be investing in the future together. And cryptos that have a conscience. The quantum financial system, anti-hacking, has a conscience of its own. And if you've not sort of really tapped into that, there's a few videos that I've done with Amy Satoria where we really look at that. And so if you are a manipulator, you haven't done the healing, you have got money stories running and things like that, then crypto will spit you out. I was told that about a particular town once that, because of the energies and because of the crystal belt that's surrounding the town, is that it will spit you out if you haven't done the work. So that's really interesting, right? And so that's what I believe with the quantum financial system as well. Okay. And so we thought it was coming. We've been told it's coming. There's some real sort of conflicting advice between these experts who are checking their graphs and they're very intuitive and they've got a really sort of solid um, video editing and they've got a solid brand and they've got certainty. And it's really easy to kind of forget your intuition and then kind of move to where they're going, which is invest in Bitcoin, invest in Ethereum projects and things like that. So I'm really about like selecting cryptos that really align with your value system and feel nourishing and uplift your spirit, because otherwise if you're investing in projects and cryptos that you don't know about because you've got so many, and two, they're not going to nourish you. Okay, so you've got to really go on the journey with the cryptos that you're choosing, if you like. A couple of the journeys that I'm going on is Afram, Brave, um, and not the browser Brave, but the Brave token, because they're doing security, online security for protecting our children. And so I guess the vision really aligns with the technology that I really want to embrace for our new earth. So, really choose projects that nourish and uplift you. And so those building on the Stellar blockchain, it's very, very new. So you're not going to be able to cash out for profit. So if you come into crypto going, okay, great, I want to make money, yet, but I want green crypto and I want crypto that are, solving real world problems, well, then you're kind of in conflict. Okay, because the money will come for all of us. What we're doing right now is just protecting ourselves and making sure that we're educating ourselves on the market and things like that. So I'm getting totally spammed in the messages. Okay, so last week, Michael, if you were on, you mentioned ICP, Internet. I just forgot computer, Internet Computer Protocol. Now, interesting enough, I did have that project in the Stellar blockchain because I am playing with other chains, interoperability, and that crypto was literally the one that threw my account into millions. Which is it's just interesting. Watch the synchronicities, and when people share different cryptos and different projects. So don't rule it out. So I'm not buying some of these on traditional exchanges. I'm really playing with the interoperability inside Lobster because I believe that that's where we're going. Okay, so that's a little bit riskier than your centralized exchanges and your centralized cryptos, which a majority of experts are sharing because they've got legs. That makes a lot of sense. It's got a lot of certainty and it's a good way to move people. The community that I work with, really interesting that we are all in. We get it. Okay, so it really is a different ride. But saying that though, it's always paid off. It's always proved if you listen to your intuition, it will always serve you. If you listen to your higher self, it will always serve you. So you've just got to work through the money stories and just be aware of the spellings, and the spells that you're casting by the language that you're using. Yeah, and I remember, being in corporate and words like headhunter and things like that just totally freaked me out. So if something does trigger you, just kind of pick it apart a little bit and kind of there's energetics behind language because what you're telling yourself. So we're on a journey all together to move into the green crypto space, into the DAO, decentralized organizations, and kind of just move that way. And all the domain names.com and that feels a bit 80s now, doesn't it? So, .io, .dao, there's all these new domains. I noticed some influencers using .eth and I'm thinking, why would you? But, that's just my perspective. I get that there's huge followings and the huge influence there, but I personally don't feel that that's where the new earth is going. I feel like we're going to equality, and, followers, and think it doesn't really sway me. I actually prefer to work with those who are not interested in the influence, and not interested in the marketing, and we can just you naturally gravitate towards them because you align with the same mission, if you like. In alignment, you've got to be in alignment at every step of the road. Certic and Quantstamp, I just wanted to bring up. So Certic will be I guess, the certifier in this crypto space, and the little, I guess, the little player is Quantstamp, and you can get some bargains now on the centralized exchanges. So it's just a couple of cryptos to look out for. Now Certic's high, and Quantstamp's getting some of the clients, so you can go and research and have a look at Quantstamp and see some of the partners, and you can see it's starting really small. So it's definitely a good crypto to look at. And I noticed that big influencers like the Variable Bull was talking about Quantstamp as well being in his portfolio. Now, remember, altcoins of someone who's a massive influencer, and I use this example is because you almost assume that they've got lots of money. So if they say that 10% of their investment outside the X family is in altcoins, then you can get an idea of where we're playing. Now, someone like me who started out, I didn't have any work, I did any contract work, and if I did want to work, I needed to travel overseas, for the airlines and that kind of thing. So I just kind of thought I'm going to learn this space, and I didn't really have a budget in mind. It was more about the education. So that it was learning. Oh wow, okay, these are projects. This is where I can actually fulfill my mission, where I can align with projects, and I can be part of the change by the decisions that I make. Because every business that I'd started, network marketing, things like that, I was like trying to be someone else, trying to make lots of money, trying to act as if, and it felt like fraud and fake to me. So I could never really make it work. I could make the money because I was educated and I knew how to market myself and sell myself, because I was certain about any product that I use. I don't use crap, and aligned with my value system. But the business models for me would go up, and then I'd lose momentum, so they didn't have the sustainability. So I feel like crypto could have that for you, for people, for anyone that wants to build an online business. It would be the sort of the foundational pillar of your enterprise. And so a couple of things that I'm moving into, just registered sensory enterprise, where I'm going to move into, so more of these new earth frameworks where, we've got this crypto understanding, but you can see that's three-dimensional, where you just want to make the money, but taking it another level, crypto is multidimensional. And so if you can educate yourself now, just, spend and buy a few cryptos that you can afford, obviously have your XRP stashed, and don't worry, we're all going to be okay, because even if you've got $500 of XRP or $100 of XRP, you're still in the education zone, and you're still choosing green cryptos. You've not got 0.00001 of a Bitcoin, but you're learning the market, you're learning the frustrations with the centralized exchanges, you're learning fees. It's actually really exciting playing on a little budget, because you notice the fees. Whereas if you had thousands and thousands of dollars, you usually hand it over to a broker, and then they would do what they want and then sort of take their fee. Whereas now we get to empower ourselves, and we get to learn the market, right? Songbird dropped to like 12 cents. Don't freak out, buy. I do think the market is going to go lower. I do think it's going to crash, and I think it will be a very quick crash. I think the XRP potentially could go to 17.76 cents. I do believe that stuff, and people say, oh, it's not going to go any lower, and it's never going to take off. And I mean, I've had a great time with it, and it's provided for me. So I guess you get to choose, is your portfolio going to provide for you, and you're going to put a little bit of effort into educating yourself. And if you want to make money, then you're trading on the centralized exchanges. And then if you want to make long-term sustainability, align with long-term projects where they're just building up now, then you're in Lobster, and you're looking at stellar blockchain projects and things like that. But we can get so immersed in the metaverse and the DAOs and the DEX and the lingo, with all these projects building on the XRP ledger and things like that, and um, it can kind of get overwhelming actually. And all the staking platforms, all the individual things like that. So it just one step at a time, one step at a time, in terms of the learning. And your sphere of awareness will open up once you start to play in this space. Now, some of the very, very intelligent, bright women running businesses will do one crypto session and then kind of get frustrated with themselves. But it's repetition. Keep going. Keep going, keep going. Now, self-learning is tricky because you do need to put in the effort and you do need to watch the videos, and sometimes you don't feel like watching the videos because it could feel quite dry. And when it feels quite dry, step away, turn it off, do something else, put your feet in the ground. But some of you are very, very busy with families. Families are home at the moment, kids are home, so you're busy. And so it's the capacity to self-learn. So the other option is, you can get a couple of coaching sessions in. You can join the collective network, the DIW coaching network. So you don't have to be a coach as such or desire to be a coach, but you could, be in the network, and then I'm dropping the latest coins, I'm dropping the latest projects, and I'm going to support you to monetize what you're learning. And that could be a little bit of crypto, but it could also be a New Earth enterprise, sensory enterprise. So working with the same types of women who are thinking future. You're not still wondering if you should open a digital wallet. I still have community that are just not sure about opening an account. And I can't really help people with that. Like I'll open up your account, and then once you've opened your account, then we'll talk. So there are a lot of people who are still not sure and just waiting to see what will happen. I've never been someone who will wait and see what happens. I will just move forward. So if you're like that, then this is where we need to go. We need to keep thinking about what's happening in the market, what's happening in world events, what's the narrative playing out. We need to sort of keep connecting the dots. Think Forex, revaluation, think precious metals, think, and interesting, I mentioned lithium last week, and then on the news narrative, it was like, China's found a solution. They don't need lithium. And I was just like, oh my God, there is a perspective as well that precious metals, gold and silver is really just giving people certainty right now. So we know Basel III, we know the COMEX ruling. So these are new regulations that need to make sure that, banks have gold. It's not fake money. They're not just printing paper. Things need legitimacy, transparency. And, they're rushing around trying to get their assets to confirm that they could have, they had the money to loan you all the money to buy your homes. So they had mortgages and they didn't even have any money. So a lot of your mortgages are not valid. Interesting times, right? So will that narrative play out if they seize property? That's interesting. That would really wake people up, wouldn't it? Really piss people off. I've lost track of where I was going. So what questions have you got? Yeah. I'm just reading a question here around, I'm torn between, from a New Eagles or buying some ISO compliant coins. I have to say I've been buying green projects coins while the market went down. I've already got my ex-family, my XRPs, and I've got those. I haven't got them sitting idle. I've got them doing something. And yeah, it's a tricky one because I get more joy out of some of these altcoins because they move so fast, whereas XRP just kind of, we're waiting, it's taking all the bows and arrows for, for all the other coins. And I know that it's being manipulated and held, and I don't know when it's going to boom. So I'm personally quite agile, and I love the play in the altcoins because I love to watch the market daily. I love to buy high, buy low and sell high. So yeah, I need some more therapy. My brain, like after the I still have concussion. Like sometimes I can't connect. And that's a little bit dyslexia as well. I notice that I say things opposite and things like that, but a lot of us are. H bar, algo, and some energy web token is a really good stash. Um, I was watching Energy Web in the centralized exchange, and now I'm playing in the DEX, the decentralized, which at the moment is lobster for me. I'm playing with Energy Web and some of these tokens in there, HBAR, Algo, and I have to tune in because it's like, my budget can't necessarily afford to buy the XRPs and the algos and, more of that. So I am really taking a risk with some of these new chains, and some and world events and things like that. So, but the risk is low in terms of the investment. But I guess if it does boom and I have picked the right chain, then happy days. Okay, what other questions have you got? XDC, I think you mean XDC. You've got XCD. That's the sort of thing I do. Like I switch stuff around. Um, I love some of the perspectives on some of you of how you're learning some of these. Is like one of my clients says, "Oh, I think of them as band names, music band names," which is really interesting because XDC is kind of like Akadaka back in the day. IOTA. Yeah, so IOTA have a fantastic staking, some new coins coming through, Shimmer, and so IOTA is very Lemuria. So you either resonate with that or not. IOTA and the Firefly, we were not friends at the moment because I had to start a new account, and there's just some complexities there. But saying that though, Firefly, there's some fantastic staking options if you do have IOTA. I think that you're in a really good boat if you have some of all the X families, but one of you're going to have a favorite. I'm starting to move towards Algo. It's starting to really excite me. Now, there's a whole decentralized community building on the Algo platform, and it's just like I'm only just getting my head around XLM and only just getting my head around the XRP ledger. So there's a lot, right? And there's Solana network as well, and those. It's the branding. I think, intuitives will go for branding, logos, use cases, vision, so we go for different things that will kind of draw you in. So just be mindful if you are getting influenced by someone with a lot of followers. I must say I do. I do. I have to kind of check in and make sure, okay, is this for me? Is this a project for me? I just wanted to check with the community as well. So I've got this beautiful Moldavite gift that was gifted to me. But what I want to know is, and I've done a little bit of research, but with world events, for those who are awake, is there any symbolism here? I just, I wouldn't like to go to a protest or an event where there's loads of awake people and they know symbolism. So if you know what I'm talking about, can someone just let me know? But it's more like the labyrinth. So it's such a beautiful gift, and obviously the Moldavite is a beautiful heart opening crystal. Off-worldly, galactic. So can someone let me know that? Because I wouldn't like to be wearing it and then if you're awake, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. The staking, I just want to bring up because we talked about it last time, and we kind of just keep building on these subjects. It's what I noticed with Bitrue is it's quite tricky for some people to get in because you've got to have a certain amount, and so it's really pushing out those with sort of lower budgets, which is a little bit. I'm not enjoying that fairness. So that's why I sort of love the more decentralized exchanges. It's because you don't, I've just taken off some light, because you don't need, I see the light. Yeah, you don't need to have big budgets, and this is what I wanna make sure that the whole community know that, a lot of people won't get into crypto because they think you need thousands to start, but, if my first trade was $11 and, and that's pretty fun when you can make it $21, on your first go, just with an altcoin because the altcoins are moving. Knowing it's a good project, it's clean and green, then you're yeah, happy days. So, so the stakings, yeah. So Bitrue centralized exchange is a little bit tricky to do the power picking. Someone asked me what would the risk be, and I think it's more the law of diminishing returns, where the pools and the farming where we're moving to is around the more people that are in it, the less returns for you at the moment. And so the whales and those who have got big influence seem to be the ones that are winning in that space. So if we can just focus, if you are on a lower budget, or if similar to myself, if you are doing that, then you just look at building the volume, which we're doing, with the Flare Network, the Songbirds, um, the X5s, the others. Escapes me. And so there's a little bit restrictions on some of this staking. So that's why if you can move into the Lumen Swap's fantastic. If you're not in there, I invite you, if you've got a little bit of budget, I invite you to go into the 10K club, which means 10,000 coins, and then you would get into the staking. It's such a fantastic website. It's so easy to use. Start on desktop, link up a wallet, and learn that process. And if you want to get into the any NFT space and you just have no idea what it's all about, digital art, the light codes coming from Damien's work in Lightmint is fantastic. So if anyone wants the link for his work, I'm not affiliated with him or anything like that. I've bought 3 of his NFTs at really low XLM price points, but he's got all things light codes firing at them, and I've got an owl with light firing, which is why I went into VSES. Actually, it wasn't more so that I really even knew what the project was. I was just like, oh my gosh, captivating diamond. It was just I was bamboozled like a child. So non-fungible tokens, that like art, it's the value is in the eye of the beholder. It's I'm sure I'm the only one that's just going, oh, light codes, with NFTs. Other people are just buying them up, buying up plots of land, and thinking very strategically. I'm not. I'm just these things are captivating me. Same with the Melania NFT, because it kind of aligns with where I'm going, and I think she's a really good, whether she's a she or a he, or whether she's real or not, whether she's off-worldly, galactic, I don't know. And saying that, though, she dresses beautifully in what we see, and she's a really good, in my opinion, a really good advocate for femininity to rise, for the divine feminine, for us to really start paying attention to some of this stuff. Especially if you were sort of grew up as a tomboy like I did, go-karts and in the rain and, in Auckland, hanging out with all the boys and, what I do, steal lemons off the trees and then go and sell them in markets and things like that. So I've always been quite entrepreneurial. Yeah, let me know if you've had an upbringing like that. And ride motorbikes and things like that. And then so there's the Melania is kind of like the representation of that dress well, style, class. So that's how I kind of choose some of my projects is by what do they stand for? What are they representing through brand? Because these are the things that I pay attention to. Language is important. It has energy on it. So yeah, start paying attention to some of this stuff. What else do we want to talk about? I was going to talk about some lobster stuff, but I don't think we've got time. Confidence, you'd be surprised. If you talk to people, confidence is really low. People are just freaking out about crypto. So we are the 1%, and I'm not even the 1% of the community that are really getting that crypto is going to be the way. Digital is going to be the way. It might not be called crypto, but digital is going to be the way we trade, the way we exchange. Think about XRP solving real world problems, $1 trillion problems that all the banks are buying, like I said at the beginning, buying up XRP. Right. So if you're not in the network and you want to be, let me know. We've kicked that off. Wonderful client of mine, Jennifer, actually, I wasn't even ready, and she had already signed up, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, okay, I've got to do something here." So that will be training every month. We will do. I'll share screen. We'll do technical if we need to. We'll do staking if we need to, and we're just supporting and guiding each other. So it's your opportunity to ask questions in the Telegram thread. So you don't have to necessarily want to coach and monetize, but you get that you're going to want to monetize, I guess, any sort of model that you're going to want to build. I really feel so here I am coaching crypto because that's what I know, but I really feel a big transition. Anyone else feeling a massive career shift? So if we are talking about nutrition or healing, then we're going to be, I really feel like we'll be in the garden, even if it's through metaverse, doing the virtual, you can see where that's going. And then sort of start to, I guess, take a higher perspective on what the government wants to use metaverse for control, right? Or Facebook or whatever. So it's not even Facebook anymore, is it? Meta, interesting. Okay, so what questions have you got? Good symbolism. Thank you, Lightweaver. I wasn't sure. It's so divine and it's such a beautiful gift. Yeah, the word crypto can creep you out. Yeah, good point. Good point. I wonder what it's going to be called, eh? I'm interesting, like DAO is like the new thing, and DAO could be so .com, .DAO. I've just registered .DAO. Yeah, interesting. I had .io, and that's input output, which was very digital. But I was like, no, we're not even there. We're not even like that's too 3D, right? Yeah, interesting times where we're all just kind of filling it out. We're all just doing the best that we can. What else have I got? That's all I've kind of got on my notes. Let's just see what questions that you might have. Yeah, if you start crypto, if you're new to this space, like it's just the people who started in 2017 won't know the stuff that you're knowing. And so a lot of people come into the space going, "Oh, I don't know anything." Well, actually, you know a lot. The other thing I wanted to pick up as well is so where I'm getting my therapy, they're actually will accept a form of cryptocurrency. It's I guess it's not on the exchange, so it's what I call a closed ecosystem, and it's probably not a great word because that kind of makes it look like it's not going to be advantageous. But these are all these communities that are or companies that are building coins. Another one in Australia would be Coin, QUOIN, and so closed ecosystems. But whoever comes onto the database, you can trade amongst each other. So, but what I feel like is really important is that you're being very discerning. You're not getting kind of bought into, because they want to put it on the international exchange. And I don't know, with the amount of regulation like ISO and, all this regulation that you need with, um, being a regulated coin on an international exchange, and the problems that it's solving. I mean, let me know what you think, but are created coins, so say, if I create a coin and I build a database of healers and light workers and we kind of all trade that coin and I tether that coin by formula, by a rule saying, okay, the price of gold is 3 grand today, so therefore it's valued at 3 grand. I'm just starting to wonder how these closed ecosystems will thrive in the new earth, or will they just dissipate? I don't know, because I'm thinking, well, why wouldn't you just trade? Why wouldn't you just build a database and just trade amongst each other with XLM? am I missing the point here on some of these closed sort of ecosystems? I see them as amazing for distribution because and marketing, because a lot of them wouldn't have got clients without being listed, within this community. So the community, look after each other. So the response was, well, if everything turns to shit in the markets, then we've got our own trade. So there's a definite plus. But if you can't get online, you can't get on the internet, and you can only trade within the community. So it's really at the quality of those who are in the community, those who are providing services within the community. So if you've got a stash of these coins, but you don't really want any of the services, you're waiting for it to be liquid one day because you've bought into the vision to cash out, for it to be on the exchange. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm wondering how would that work? So, and I always say to people, have a backup plan. It's great that you're enjoying that, because people love the energy of community, trading, being digital, but they're not really learning what the differences are, because they think that getting into crypto might be too complex. Yet a lot of the people who had joined this ecosystem, I'm actually asking them for their addresses and things like that. So they're not really learning the space, and they're accumulating all this coin that's not on the exchange, and it's just got a formula tethered to gold. So is that a false sense of security? Is that a false sense of money? So say if you've got 30,000 of these coins and you think you've got $30,000 of fiat, I don't know. Makes me wonder. Should you use more than one wallet? I'm all in for lots of wallets. I think that we should just learn as much as we can right here, right now. And it kind of takes our focus off what's really going on, right? Because what's really going on, we can influence by standing up. But at the end of the day, we know that it's all part of the plan. So to keep our attentions focused on where we're going, our new enterprises, our digital knowledge, our multi-dimensional selves where we're healing. And I have loads of wallets. So that's my opinion. And I also have what we call sort of cold storage wallets and things like that. So my XDC is in Garda, and I love it. Simple. I have Exodus. Exodus, obviously, I love the colorings. I love the fact that it's I own the keys. I don't have a physical hard wallet yet, like a Nano or a Decent, because I feel like something better is coming. Where you can hold everything, and I'm not a holder at the moment. I already held and was liquidated last year, so I haven't had the funds to really put a big stash over. So I'm really just energetically playing with crypto. And, some days I think, oh my gosh, am I going to be okay for the future? Because, you take on other people's fears. Have I got enough XRP? Have I got enough? Am I going to be okay? You just have to just know faith and trust. So it's really just back to the basics. Do I know how to grow my own food is probably the most important thing right now. Do I have a natural solution to make my hair soft? Like it's survival, if you look at the narrative of, the shelves being empty and things like that. So am I really looking at how would I be sustainable as a business? How would I, sustain my abundance if everything was locked out? So with wallets, my favorites, I do like Exodus. It's just a little bit tricky to get it out. They're doing a lot of development. There's a few different, they hold most coins. So that's pretty good. So it's all your X family. I think the only one they might not hold is XDC. So XDC is in Garda. I love Firefly. We're just not getting along at the moment. That's IOTA. So I do love these different wallets for the education. It's a long answer to a very simple question. That's my personal choice, because if I just have one, I'm not learning anything else. And as annoying as it could be to be all over the place, it kind of feels empowering in another sense of the word, because when someone mentions something, I know what they're talking about. right? So it just depends on your strategy. Are you just to buy XRP, put it in the nano, and never, just wait for all this drama to unfold and wait for it to hit whatever it's going to hit? Some say it's going to hit two figures, say $10. Would you cash out? Some people think it's going to hit three figures. Is this going to play out over 2 years, 5 years? Oh my gosh, I just full surrender. I don't know, because last year I thought it was all going to be rainbows and lollipops. I really did. I thought XRP was just going to go, but it didn't. Instead, I got liquidated. So the opposite happened. So I had some more healing to do around money stories. And just remember, a lot of the stuff is not yours right now. So you might start doubting yourself, and then you realize, actually, well, that's the collective. That's the collective fear. And you have the power to just shift that then and there. You don't need any qualifications or anything like that. It's just a decision. I feel like your language, your spells that you're casting are very, very important right now. Yeah. What else have you got? Yeah, some people don't like the million wallets and the passwords. They like to just have, one wallet. I came from that kind of mindset as well, like coming from corporate, very structured, and I felt incompetent with a whole heap of wallets and stuff like that. But I have a different perspective now that I have a few different wallets, and that's what I've shared with you around the learning, the education. Yeah, just going with the ride. I have the Zun wallet. I quite like it. I didn't like it at first. I didn't know how to navigate it. I really like it. What other wallets have I got? I've got PAC. I bought PAC protocol, gosh, ages ago. It was one of my first cryptos, part of the Flare partnerships. It's not done anything, but I have the PAC wallet, and it's just sitting over there. Now, I quite like these independent wallets. The decentralized stuff coming through, I'm getting overwhelmed. Yeah, it's too much for me. I just look after your ex-family, look after your family. And then the Lobster, obviously, I know is safe. I've got the vault set up. I feel like Lobster will be it. Lobster will be it, and the interoperability will be in there. And there's a theory that that's potentially how UBI, universal basic income, or how we'll get money to the people, will be through a wallet like Lobster, where you need no experience, right? But for those who want to learn, I think it's important not just to play in Lobster, because you'd have to really be on the ball if you want to make money in Lobster right now. Some people do. You can sort of, cash out. You've got your USD coin when it's market crash, and then you've moved that into a profit coin, one that's got legs at the moment, like 50,000 holders, like Doggett. Stronghold, we know, is going to be huge. Yeah, let me know any other projects that you want to sort of check on. In my community, in the coaching network, I have dropped a whole heap of domains that will probably keep you busy for a year. Pick the ones that you love. That is the new stock market being built. So yeah, it's a very different change of mindset, but you don't need a lot in there. Okay, so I'm going to end the live stream unless you've got any other questions. Oh, I love it. Arminda, is it? Totally new to crypto. Awesome. Bought some Bitcoin and others learning. Okay, great. Okay, let's go green. Okay, let's move the Bitcoin when it goes up. Because it depends on when you bought. Okay, so there is a narrative playing out, and some perspectives, some people truly believe that Bitcoin's going to zero. And when I did an intuitive read and a psychic read on it, it was like, it's going to swap. Okay, so good people are putting their money in there now, which is great. Crypto, everyone's learning crypto. They don't necessarily know what it was funding, and then when they find out, they're like, they want to switch it out. Their body wants to switch it out. Okay. Some people don't care. I care. I care what their past history. I care why Bitcoin was built. I care who owned it. I care who manipulated it for 10 years. I care about all that stuff, right? So I'm going to, if I get Bitcoin, or if someone gifts it to me, I swap it out to a green project, and I invest in that energy of where they're going. So that's what I do. So I'd love to talk to you. Aqua, yeah, Aqua is going to be huge. Again, it's really difficult to, look at profits, or I don't even look at lobster of what these coins are doing unless it's really down, like dog it's down. I'll buy more if I have a little bit of XLM. Or if Aqua's down. Aqua is going to be such a huge project. And you can check to see if you got the airdrop and the free coin. So we're just building right now. And they're obviously building a completely new staking platform and things like that. And some of us have got our coins locked up. Some of us have got our coins on the automatic money maker on Stellar X. So yeah, it's going to be huge. I mean, think liquidity, Aqua. Think Aquarius, think Ripple. It's all connected, right? So it's going to be a huge project, and there's a lot of community in there. Interesting enough that big followers just don't know about it. Big influencers just don't know about these projects. Good for us, I guess, because as soon as they start pouring their money in and the market gets handed over, if you like, because it's been manipulated and held back, because the money's been poured. But as soon as the money gets poured in a natural market, the price is going to go up. And so for us, or for my community who didn't have a big budget, you'd want to get in before that happens. You've just got to know. You've got to really tap into that clear cognizance and that clear sentience and just know where we're going. So world events, know what's happening. Try not to get influenced too much on different perspectives. You'll be following an influencer and then somebody will say, oh, they're dodgy and they're involved in this and it's just like, just step away. Some of these tarot readers that we were, following on real world events, they were, pulling cards and stuff, and it's like, and then you find out that they're part of a network that's trying to manipulate you, and you're just like, oh my gosh. So you don't really know right now who's who, and you've just got to kind of navigate and just choose wisely for yourself and choose with heart, and just keep doing the healing, and just be aware of thoughts in your head where you're giving yourself a hard time. All right. Where can I buy Aqua? So Aqua is on Lobster. That's another thing I was going to share in my community as well. I'm going to take you into Stellar Port, and we're going to get some bargains, because if you're trading on Lobster, you're doing the swap. Or if you're trading, you're putting in a price point and hoping that it's going to come through. Stellar Port is a little bit tricky, but I think it's the one that we should start learning. Another platform we should start learning. So I'll be doing some training on that for anyone who's in there. And the make sure you get the right Aqua as well. So I'm just, I don't remember a lot at the moment. I used to be able to just kind of rattle off these domains for Lobster. But this the concussion is, it's a real thing. So Aqua Network, I just want to make sure. So aqua.network. Okay, so there's a lot of different domains inside Lobster, so you want to make sure you get the right one, and then jump onto that domain, like that, their website, aqua.network, and there you'll see all the staking options and things like that. Another one that I would recommend would be affirm.com, and they have a lot of rewards at the moment, saving options like a bank where they're gifting you back rewards in more tokens and things like that. So really good time to start learning these different platforms and to really immerse yourself in these projects, so that it kind of opens up your sphere of what's possible. And then the Bitcoin, it just becomes so last year. I would love everyone to just go, no, thank you, Bitcoin. But the truth is there's lots of volume and lots of people getting in there, and it's good for crypto. It's good for us. It's good for us. Okay. It's been great to connect again. And same time next week. See you then.